How are you?
That's good.
Yes. Okay. Well, I hope you're all doing well. I'm excited to see all of you out there, and I hope you're excited to be here. We are Unity in Ashland. We are a spiritual community of people who are just walking our paths and helping each other along the way. So we're glad to have all of you with us. You probably think I'm going to say who's here for the first time, but who's here for maybe the 15th time? All right, or more. Who's here for the third time? No third timers today. Who's here for the second time? Because I know we had some first timers last week. Anyone? Second time? Anybody here for the very first time with us? We have some. Would you like to share your name and where you're from?
My name is Barbara Cecil, and I'm from Ashland.
From Ashland. All right, welcome. Any others back there? Any others in this whole middle section? How about over here? Yes.
I'm Kathy. I'm from Ashland.
Kathy from Ashland? Anybody else brave?
Chelsea, her daughter. Chelsea. Chelsea.
Oh, Chelsea. Okay, we won't tell. Anybody over here for the first time? All right, and welcome back Donna and Al, who have been gone for so long it feels like the first time. So let's give everybody a hand that's here. First time away. Well, we're thinking a lot these days in this world about freedom, aren't we? Yeah, our own personal freedom and just freedom to be who we are and who we choose to be. Now, we're doing things a little bit differently today. We're going to start with a song and then do the announcements after the first song, because a lot of times people are coming in a little bit later and then they miss the announcements, and I feel unheard. So we're going to start with a wonderful song by Jane Sterling and Donna Benjamin. Let's give them a warm welcome.
And I'd love for all of you to join in, because I think you'll know this song. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday.
start off the day with this song because we are heading into Martin Luther King Day next Monday, not this Monday, but on the 21st. And if you haven't been to the Armory and experienced what this community does to honor Martin Luther King Day, I encourage you to set it aside on your calendars. It's a magnificent tribute to freedom and to really seeing this community as people who are dedicating their lives to bringing freedom for all peoples in this world. So we're leading up to that day, this Sunday and next, by today talking about personal freedom and how we can find more personal freedom. So welcome to our Sunday together. Donna now is going to do the announcements, or the blessing of the children.
Well, that brings back so many memories for me. I remember that in 1988 I was at the WinStar Symposium, which was John Denver's organization in Aspen, Colorado, and that year we had about 2,000 people there. One of the people was a man, they called him Sasha, I can't remember, Alexander Grodsky. I think he was the top singer in Russia at that time, and we had a whole contingency of people from Russia and other countries. And at one point during that symposium, he got up on stage and took John Denver's hand and started singing that song. And it was between the Russians and us and all of the world, and that was such a touching moment, I can't even tell you. So that's what came back for me just now. Thank you for singing that today. Some announcements. Of course, we always have our Monday night prayer circle, 5 o'clock on Mondays. Please fill out a prayer request form on the back table and put it in the prayer box, and it will be prayed for. If anyone needs one-on-one prayer after the service today, I can be available as a prayer chaplain to pray with you. Just come and find me. I do want to remind people to keep the one parking spot. You may have seen the sign when you came in. We're trying to keep that parking spot open. So when the food angels bring in our feast of abundance, that they don't have to carry it for 3 miles. It's convenient for them. So just keeping that in mind from week to week. Many of you know Janice Clark. She was here last week. She had an oxygen tank. So if you didn't know her name, that's who that lady was. She is in a Rogue Medical Center. She had chemo yesterday. She is very, very ill and looking for people to visit her. So we've created, actually, who created? Oh, Denise, she created the care calendar. A care calendar is something online that you can go and sign up to visit her or take food, or whatever the need may be, and we'll let you know what those needs are. But if anyone wants to go online, I have little pieces of paper. Just come and get one, and it'll show you how to go online to see if anyone else has signed up for that particular day. And please keep her in your prayers. She's going through a very difficult time, and yet moving towards a very joyous time of release. So, and I'm asking everyone to just hold in your mind your vision for our community here. We have a lot of things that we'll be talking about during offertory time. And so just now, just hold in your mind a vision of why you come here, why you support this organization, this community. Just holding that in your heart and see what unfolds for you. Child care. Is Esther here somewhere? Bless you.
I saw her going in the back.
Okay, she's in the back. Well, I just want to announce that we are looking for some people to volunteer, perhaps one Sunday a month, that they might be interested in facilitating our child care program. And Esther will be out here soon, and she's the one that you would talk to if you have an interest in that. There's already a curriculum set up, I understand. We're just looking for a few people to handle that, because it's something that one person can't handle all the time. So when Esther comes in, you'll know who she is. And is Janine here?
Yes.
Oh, there you are. We have a special announcement from Janine.
Good morning. So ACT is about to open the most ambitious piece that we've ever done. It's we have a local playwright in town, Molly Bess Tinsley, who's just created a publishing company, and she's a playwright with a national reputation. And so over the past several years, actually, this play has been developing and really in earnest in October. It's called A Pompadour, on the life of Madame de Pompadour. who was the official mistress of King Louis XV, and she ran the government. She was born a commoner, and she is the first woman in the world to hold real political power who was not born to it. She was his main squeeze for about 5 years, and she stayed in power for another 15 before she pretty much worked herself to death at the early age of 42. This is a one-woman show. I'm the one woman. I actually have a special need at the moment. I might have to leave this service early and head over to the Catholic Church unless our congregation is blessed with someone fluent in Latin. Raise your hand if you speak Latin fluently. Okay, well, let's see if I can hit them up before they go into Spanish over there. So Archie will be, Archie is our vice president of the board. He will be handing out these posters in little leaflet form after the service. My costume, which I was going to wear today, and our very own Karen Douglas, who's a past artistic director and fantastic costumer and is building it, said, "Don't you dare show off my costume except on stage." So, you got to come to the show. It's this next coming Saturday night at 8 o'clock is the opening. Sunday at 2, and it repeats that patterns for the next 2 weekends. So Saturday at 8, Sunday at 2 for the 26th and 7th, Saturday at 8, Sunday at 2 for the 2nd and 3rd. I'd love to have supportive faces in the audience beforehand, hoping to get through my 2 hours worth of lines. If you can't come this weekend and you want to buy advance tickets, they're sold at Paddington Station here in Ashland and Grocery Outlet in Medford, and I really do recommend an advance purchase. We're recreating an intimate little theater at Versailles in the community center of all places, down across from Lithia Park. So there's 60 chairs, and then we're done. So you gotta get advance tickets if you want to be sure. And thank you very much for your time. I think that she's terribly important on the subject of individual freedom and potential. This was a daughter of the Enlightenment, and she was the main backer of the first encyclopedia. She had the largest library in Europe, over 1,000, outside of England, over 1,000 incredible volumes, and she was the debate champion of the French salons in Enlightenment issues. This was some kind of, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
That's Ashland Contemporary Theater. Be there or be square. And speaking of freedom, we would love to be free of any cell phone ringtones, wouldn't we? And how do we do that? We turn them off. Very good. We're going to be blessing the children now. If we can have the children come forward for their blessing. And Esther. And here they come. And so we're going to set these children free to be with their teacher and have a wonderful experience back there. And so we're just going to bless them today because they are our future and we love them and we appreciate them. And so together we rub our hands together and get the energy flowing. And we send our energy towards these dear ones and say, we love you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ light shining in you. All right, you're going to go with your teacher.
And after blessing the children, I have a special blessing for you adults. How many of you get on your emails what's called the morning blessing? Have any of you seen that yet? I think I'll put up a link to it on the Unity website. because it's a wonderful blessing that's being written by a New Thought woman on the East Coast named Reverend Pergeroff. And I'm just being really helped by reading these morning blessings every week. And so check the Unity website and you could link into it too. So I'm using her morning blessing from this morning that seems so appropriate to what I've been thinking about as a blessing for us. So again, rub your hands together. And this is for you to give a blessing to you. So there's chi energy here. There's fire energy of your kundalini like we talked about last week. And I want you to place your hands as you've raised this energy somewhere. Could be your heart, be your solar plexus, somewhere in your body where you'd like to receive a blessing today. And close your eyes as you hear this blessing from the morning blessings. Please know there is only one unity in this glorious universe. This unity is our truest source. It emanates peace and restores balance to all things, in all places, at all times. Today is going to be a better day than yesterday. And tomorrow, a brighter image than today could possibly be, because I am surrounded and guided by a companion of infinite intelligence. An aspect of divine mastership is my friend. This infinite intelligence desires mindful restoration of my true self. This infinite intelligence that is my friend is a presence that unconditionally reveals its nature whenever I ask. It's a fragrance that engulfs my entire being with a resurrected passion for love and light. I have an alliance with this mastery. This is what is real. This is what I decree and know about myself as absolute truth. And I savor it in this moment. And I celebrate the freedom that I therefore am. I am filled with deep gratitude, knowing that as I let this mastership dawn in me, I become a light unto all others. The way of the One has arrived within my consciousness, and silently I immerse my will to its discipline. And so it is. Take your hands down now, but maybe want to keep your eyes closed as we go into a meditative moment, even a little bit deeper. Take a breath, a deep breath, and allow yourself to settle in to this sanctuary, this present moment with each other. Take a moment to focus on your breath right now. And imagine that as you inhale, you gather yourself to become more present. And imagine that as you exhale, you let go of the clamor of the day, of distractions. You settle into this meeting. Let your breath relax you. Breathe deep down with your belly. Breathing deeply now, extend your awareness to everybody in this room. Everyone breathing together. Imagine as though we literally begin to breathe together as one. Imagine that we're moving into accord with one another. Sense this happening as though we are one being breathing. Sense each person here and feel all of us coming together for a common purpose. Imagine that as we listen deeply, our differences inspire collective brilliance. Our differences can inspire collective brilliance, inspire a generosity of spirit. We celebrate each other. We celebrate together. Imagine that we are bringing our hearts and our minds together for the purpose of healing and regeneration, and shining our light more brightly throughout this coming week. So find this place inside right now where you stand in your own truth, where you stand in your integrity and in your openness. Feel yourself open and connected with each other person here. In our openness, we are powerful. In our unity, we are strong. In our love, we have everything we need. And so it is. Aho. And now look around the room as you've opened to being connected to everyone here. And with your eyes and your smile, greet people that you gaze upon here. Gently thanking them for being present here.
This next song I wrote when someone came up to me at a workshop and said they saw the full moon in me. The song's called Your Own Full Moon, and Richard played all the guitar and bass in it. We produced it together. So enjoy him as well. You saw the full moon when you looked into these eyes, they pulled you in. Something had drawn you like the stars in the sky. It is the light of this love. It is the light of this love. Your own full freedom awaits you, a life to behold. Take this light you see here to lead you back home. Precious love will find you in the darkness of the night. Take this heart to guide you in the sacred one inside. It is the light of this love. It is the light of this love. Your own full moon. Your own full moon. ravishing and reveling in the beauty of tonight. It is the light of this love. It is the light of this love. Your own full moon. Your own full moon. You said you saw the full moon. You said you saw the full moon. You said you saw the full moon.
You notice how Jane's original songs take you into a space where you can feel this energy wafting over you. So she's going to sing one more of her originals later, and just let it do that to you, you know, just let it relax you and breathe into realizing who you are in this moment. Here we are in 2013, like I was saying last week, you know, we made it, we are alive, we lived through the shift of 2012, and whoa, we've got a lot to live for. Who are you? Who are you, you being that chose to be here at this particular time on planet Earth? Have you ever considered that you might be an awakened master? You might be. Maybe you are a reawakening master, and that's why you're here. The path of the awakened or reawakened master is like a vibration and a frequency. It's something that you sense your way into more than think your way into. Just like exploring any intimate relationship. You know, I was referring in that blessing to an intimate relationship with mastership. Well, you've got to open all your senses and be guided step by step by your intuition into this relationship with your mastership. The path of the forgotten master is well worn because it has been walked many, many times. Masters forget because they must forget in order to continue learning. So when we come here, we might forget who we are for a while. We forget because, not because we didn't get it right, but because we need more practice. Masters forget in order to recreate themselves within new contexts, paradigms, and environments. So you're here to recreate yourself once more. And you've got a call on you to spiritually awaken. And when you hear that call, sometimes it feels like, enter me, O Great Spirit, and then I will discover myself. But it might also go the other way and say, I must discover my true self, and then you will enter me. So your path to your true self is what we're going to be talking about today. You can trust that your path is already set to intersect with mastership. You can trust that. So you don't have to steer a different course than the one that you're on right now. But whether you experience it as sailing into a cozy harbor or colliding with its iron gate, it's up to you. You see? So I'm inviting you to burst in to this light this year. We're singing about moonlight. We're talking about sunlight. There's some quality of light that I'm inviting you to burst into this year, your mastership. And Janine is going to read us a beautiful poem about the fire.
Let's see, does that work that way? There we go.
Hold it right close. 'Cause it's
Yeah, I'd rather come up here. Franz Wright, The Fire. Listen, I've got light in my eyes, and on my skin the warmth of a star. So strange is this that I can barely comprehend it. I think I'll lift my face to it. And then I lift my face, and don't even know how that is happening. And everything alive, and everything is alive, is turning into something else, as at the heart of some annihilating. Or is it creating fire that's burning, unseeably, always burning at such speeds as eyes cannot detect? Just try to observe your own face growing old in the mirror. Or is it beginning to be born?
long times. Okay.
So we're doing things in just a little bit different order today. We're going to be taking the offering, receiving the offering at this time. And earlier I asked you to just hold in your heart an image of why you come here, and if this feeds you, does this feed you? You know, we're launching a new image. We, Unity and Ashland, are in the process of launching a new image for ourselves, a new presence in this community that we call Ashland. And there are lots of needs that come with that. We need to give Norma the space to finish her book. That is a very big happening. We also want to update our website. We have advertising. We'll need to be hiring people. So these are many things that will really increase our presence in this community. But it depends on all of us doing our part. And so we really invite you to be generous, very generous. And I ask that you take your tithes and offerings right now and place it on your heart and just infuse it. Truly infuse it with your heart energy very deeply. Imagining that it is expanding 1,000 times 1,000 for the service of the light, because that is why we are here. We are here to serve the light. And so it is.
May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. You can sing along. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your
as we send our energy to these offerings, and we give thanks to all of you for these offerings, we energize it with our energy and we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit.
Remember last week you saw the short video of my trip to Chichen Itza, and at the end of it I told you about that dream that I had while I was there, in which I saw these two beings, a male and a female, who were going off into the light, turn and say to me, don't name anything. And that's how you will know true oneness. Don't name anything. Well, I've been thinking about that a lot this week. Maybe you've been giving it a little thought too. And I want to get into some practical application of that. What does it mean for us to not name anything? About naming, how do we know who we are if we're not constantly naming who we are and who we're not? I think all of our human beingness, we've thought, is based upon this naming. I am not you, and I'm not them. I'm not that other race. I'm not that other religious group out there. I'm not that other nation. I am me, and I'm separate from you. And it could also even get to the point of saying, I am good and you are bad. Or maybe it gets to the point of, I am bad and you are good. Who knows which way it goes, but naming. Isn't it at the core of our way of defining ourselves? So how could we ever let go of naming? It gives us a sense of self, of someone whom I can define over and against someone or something else. But then it goes a little bit deeper and we start to think, who am I? Who is this self that I'm defining, this me, this I, that we're so intent upon knowing and defining? Well, at the core of philosophy, we hear, know thyself, and to thyself be true. So there, all over the world, in all different religions and philosophies, there is a demand upon us to know ourselves. So how do we know ourselves if we're not going to define ourselves by naming? Well, let's deconstruct this me, this I, a little bit further. Suppose that you're looking at three objects out there in front of you. One of them's a flower pot, and one of them's a book, and one of them's a picture of you. And you're asked, which of these is you? And at first you might hesitate for a moment and think, well, that picture of me is me. But then you realize, well, none of these objects is me. I'm the one who's looking at the objects. It doesn't matter what you put in front of me, even a picture of me. I'm not that. I'm the one who's looking at the object. So it's an act of a subject perceiving an object. Right? Ramana Maharishi asked us some provocative questions about this topic, about who is your true self. He said, who sees when you see? When you look in the mirror and see the visage of you, who is seeing you in the mirror? Have you ever done that? Looked in the mirror and thought that? I have. Who is this seeing this image of me in the mirror? And when you hear, who is hearing? And who is dreaming when you're asleep? Well, the simple answer back is me. It's me looking in the mirror. And it's me hearing, and me dreaming, and me seeing. The constant factor is me. Well, this is true. And it's pretty easy to distinguish between you and the objects that you're looking at. This is a classic setup of the subject and object that we're used to. So we don't have to go through every object in the universe to say, this is not you, because we accept I am not all these objects. So we can easily generalize by saying that if you are the one who is looking at something, then that something is not you. In one fell swoop, you know that who you're not, what you're not. You're not the outside world. Okay, let's let that stand. You are not the outside world. That's easy. Now, at least we've eliminated millions of things out there that you're not. You're not the objects outside. But who are you? And where are you if you're not outside there with all the other things? Even if all the outside objects disappeared, would you still be there? Imagine how much fear you might feel if everything all of a sudden disappeared all around you. But who would be feeling that fear? Me, you say. True. The same me experiences both the outside world and the inside feelings, emotions. So, are you your emotions? Now imagine that you're watching a dog play outside. You're watching it play out there, you can imagine that, right? And then all of a sudden you hear behind you a loud hissing sound and a rattle. And your inner self, your emotions go off big time and you say, there's a snake there, maybe a rattlesnake, I'm in danger. Well, you'd be feeling a tremendous amount of emotion inside of you. The dog would still be playing there outside, but your emotions take front and center stage. This demonstrates that very quickly all of your attention can get grabbed by your emotions. So you can see that both the inner and the outer experiences, both the inner emotions and the outer experiences, compete for your attention all the time. There is a you in there having both the inner and the outer experiences. But who are you? Are you your thoughts in your head? Are you your thoughts inside of your head? Well, the voice inside of your head is similar to your emotions. It's always vying for your attention. And as I said above, it doesn't make any difference what exactly it's about. It could be a good thing, a bad thing. All kinds of feelings can vie for your emotions. All kinds of thoughts can vie for our attention. Whenever you think that one thing that your mind is saying is you, and the other thing is not you, that's when you've lost your objectivity. You may want to think that you are this part of you that's saying all these nice things, being a really good person and telling everybody else how nice they are, and then there's this other part of you that's saying these critical and mean things, and that's not you. You're the one hearing the voice, though. You're the one hearing whatever gets said inside of you. If you don't get this, you're going to be caught up in trying to constantly figure out which of the things that the mind is saying is you, the real you. People go through so many ups and downs within their minds, searching for what's true and what's not true about all the things that your mind is telling you about you. But this is not how or where you're going to find your true self. Are you with me? Okay? So just take a minute here to go a little bit more deeply with this. So there's a difference between your experience of the outside world and your interactions with your inner mental world. When you are just thinking, and you're in your inner world, you think that you're free to create whatever thoughts you want in your mind. All these thoughts are expressed through an inner voice. And you're very used to just accepting and settling into this playground of your thoughts about things. You're very used to settling in to this playground of your thoughts about everything. And your thoughts creating thoughts about everything out there. So you readily jump into experiencing the outer world by categorizing and manipulating it in your inner world. You see what I'm saying? Usually we don't even stop to blink an eye or realize it, that what we perceive outside, we jump right into categorizing it and naming it. So we're seeing things outside, but we've got this whole inner world going on in which we're commenting on it all the time. What most people are experiencing all the time is just a mental perspective of the world according to them. What could you be experiencing instead? A stark, unfiltered experience of what is really out there. A stark, unfiltered experience of what is really out there. In Buddhist meditation, this is called Tathagata. reality such as it really is. And you have to spend many years in meditation to get a glimpse of reality such as it really is. Because we as humans are constantly creating in our minds stories about how reality is. Okay, are you with me? So, why do humans do this naming of outer reality and filtering it through our own mental perspective so constantly? We all do it. Well, it's because our inner narrative, our inner story, our naming of everything buffers reality as it comes in. Buffers it. This buffering job is the job of the mind. It's not necessarily just a bad thing. I mean, if we let in all the sensorial experiences around us, it would be overwhelming. So we do have to sort things and decide. But the problem is that this is going on so unconsciously all the time that you are managing to control reality all the time, to buffer it and control it in certain ways so that it all fits together in your mind. But then we walk around actually experiencing our mental model of the world and not the world itself. So we get trapped. Have any of you seen the movie Les Miserables? Yeah, how many of you? Quite a few. And maybe some of you have seen it before, the play, or read the book, but it's always fascinated me, that story. And this time when I saw the movie, I got more understanding about the commander, you know, the man who was chasing after Jean Valjean through all the years. And he was in his constant filter inside of his own mind about Jean Valjean, wasn't he? You know, the story is that Jean Valjean was a man who stole a loaf of bread early on and then served time in prison, and then this commander thought that he was guilty and that he shouldn't be able to be free and escape, that he needed to be back in prison. So whenever he found him or saw him, he was after him to get him back in prison. So this commander was picturing over and over again an image that he had of Jean Valjean, right? And even though he got confronted by that picture not meeting up with reality, like Jean Valjean was really caring and loving and giving to lots of other people. And the commander would see that, and it would shock him, but then he would come back to his picture of reality. Until finally, in the end, he couldn't bring it all together in the way that he was always trying to make sense of it, and his world started to come apart. And rather than go with that, letting his world come apart, his identity crumble, he couldn't handle it, and he committed suicide. So humans use our minds to create an inner security system. We all do it. Our naming practice is like a guard and a filter, and it provides a way of ordering things to make them manageable for us. The mind is given this job of naming, filtering, categorizing. Just let's break it down to a small little example. For example, you can walk out of this building today and you can shiver and say, "Whoa, it's cold out here. It's really cold." Now, why did you do that? You already felt it. And why are you naming it over again? And then why do you even maybe say it outside, like name it out in words? Well, one idea about this is that we name things outside, on the one hand, to get other people to be right there with us in naming it that way, but then also because it gives us a feeling that we can do something about it. When really you can't do anything about it being cold outside, can you really? It's just cold. But then you start to say to yourself, it's cold outside, but in just a minute I'll be in the car and I can turn on the heat, then I won't be cold. Or I can put on my gloves and then I won't be cold. And so we name things to give us the feeling that we can control things. Basically, we're constantly reworking reality to make ourselves more comfortable and trying to control it so that we feel good. We're justifying our anger to explain things in a way that reinforces our own identity. We're justifying a lot of feelings and behaviors that way. So the exploration of the self inevitably involves the unfolding of one's life in the surroundings around us, in a way that things are just going to be happening the way they are without really any control that we have over them. But we don't like that, because that means change. So we can either view the unfolding of everything around us like it's cold outside with excitement or with fear. And all too often, we don't even realize it, but we're opting for fear. We like the world around us to be controllable and predictable, and so we use our mind to manipulate life so that it doesn't awaken our fears anymore. Fear is actually a thing, an object in the universe. It's become so reified, in other words, that it actually exists like a thing around us, and you can only do one of two things with it. Either you realize that you have it in there, and you work to release it, or you keep it, and you hoard it, and you spend a lot of time trying to deal with it, trying to hide from it, trying to manipulate things so that you don't get stimulated. So people don't realize that fear is an object that they have to accept, and they have to work with. So we've been denying that for too long. You know, fear exists. Like in the Course in Miracles, it says there are two choices that we have: go toward love or go toward fear. But fear is, it's a real thing that we do have to deal with. It may not sound frightening that we're dealing with it all the time by trying to order our world and trying to control everything. That may sound like a good thing to do, but it's not. It's not really a safe way to live. Because if you do this, the world truly becomes threatening. When you're in control all the time, or think that you're trying to be in control by naming things, that what you fear then actually starts coming more and more into being. If you, for example, feel that this person outside of you is not behaving the way that they should, and this event is not unfolding the way it should around you, and then you see things that happen in your past that relate to it, and it becomes more disturbing, and then you think about the future, and it could be bad in the future because it could happen this way again. You have not really created a safe world for yourself, have you? Based on that kind of thinking. We all know that we do this. But as we grow spiritually, we realize that our attempt to protect ourselves from our problems actually creates more problems. As we try to arrange people, places, and things so that they won't disturb us, we feel like life is a struggle every day. And it gets heavier and heavier. And it starts to become like a fight. And there will be competition and jealousy and more fear. The alternative is to decide not to fight with life. You realize and accept that life is not under your control. Life is continuously changing, and if you're trying to control it, you will never be fully living it. But once you decide that you don't want to fight with life, then you have to face that fear that was causing you to fight. There is such a thing as a life without fear. In order to understand that kind of life, we have to dig a little bit deeper into understanding about yourself and your relationship to fear. Fear is residing inside of you, and it will inevitably get stimulated. There's nothing wrong with that, because life situations do come along to push your edges with the effect of removing what is blocked inside of you. So life situations come along. You are going to feel fear. There's nothing wrong yet, the emotions of feeling the fear. When your energy is blocked and it can't come up and feed your heart, that blockage needs to be removed. Because when your heart doesn't get fed, it becomes weak and susceptible to lower vibrations like anger and jealousy and possessiveness. So when your heart is blocked by fear, and then all of the things that you start to think about the situation piled on top of fear, your heart is not available to life energy. So the purpose of things coming up out there is to let you know you've got blockages. That's it. Just to let you know you've got blockages, and so that you can release them Go do massage, get some healing work done, do the journey to completion, find a counselor. But when you start to feel fear, you know you've got a blockage, your heart is not getting nurtured, and you've got to release that. There's a spiritual law that the quicker you let go of that fear and that blockage, the quicker that the suffering stops. The longer you hang on to it, the longer you perpetuate the suffering. We know this. Letting go of this semblance of control, though, can be very threatening. And we are here in 2013, in the midst of a lot of spin doctors out there in the world, spinning and spinning things to say that we've got to have more control, that we've got to use up more resources, that we've got to protect our national rights more, that we've got to protect our access to things more. This is going on all around us out there. The spin doctors, though, are not just outside of us. They can be having a heyday right here inside of us. So that's why we come to unity, to get confronted like this. And to realize that if we don't stop spinning and spinning these false realities, that we are just as guilty as the ones who are eating up the rainforest and doing all these other things outside of us. We have got to stop the spinning inside of us. So finding our true selves means that we're going to be transcending that part of us that is set up to comfort and protect and provide us with security. So if you're not going to be the one who is constantly naming yourself so that you can be secure and protecting yourself and buffering yourself in this way by naming, then who is your true self? Who is it that's having all of these physical, mental, and emotional experiences? We keep finding out who we are by letting go. That's how you find out who you are. Let go. Let go. Let go of all your judgments. Let go of your fears. Let go of your naming. And you'll see that there is an I in there who is not any of that, who is not all of those experiences. So it's done by remembering that you are the one inside that has to notice this voice talking. You're the one behind that voice, behind all the naming. This is the first step of the way out. It is. The one inside who is aware that you are always talking to yourself, and that you are always naming things, that you are always distinguishing and saying what you like and what you don't like. The one inside behind that is in a great silence. A great silence. That's why the Unity founders taught us, you must enter the silence. The silence is like a doorway that you walk through into the depths of who you really are. Come to the silence, and you will meet the one who is the witness, the silent witness of it all. Come to know the one who watches the voice, and you will come to know one of the great mysteries of creation. In the silence, you will meet the true you, the one who is ageless, the one who is back behind it all of the comings and the goings of your thoughts and your emotions, your judgments, and your namings and your blamings. You'll come to know the eternal one behind it all, seated there in the seat of your soul. And then you can watch the thoughts and the judgments and not get caught up in believing them. You can observe the strong feelings or irritations as they come along and ask yourself, not what external problem needs to be addressed, but what needs to be changed in here. Not what needs to be changed out there, but what part of me needs to be healed. What blockage now needs to be healed. What old wound now is coming up to be healed. It's huge what's being asked of us in 2013. It's huge. We're being asked to no longer listen to the voice inside of us that builds our ego. To no longer construct monuments to our egos. We can see it happening out there in the world, like I said, how grabbing for more stuff and protecting it and blaming and defending and building up monuments to the ego of a nation or the ego of a company is not working. So we see it so clearly out there in the world, but we have to start creating inside of ourselves a sustainable way of being. We have to bring it all to a halt, right here, deep within ourselves. So when you've stopped the chatter in your mind and dwelt in this inner silence, eventually you get to the point within yourself where you realize that you, the experiencer, has certain qualities. There is a unique you. And the main quality of that unique you is awareness, consciousness. You come to really know that you are in there, that your true self exists. Thoughts or no thoughts, emotions or no emotions, physical world, objects or none. You are there, observing it all. Like, for example, you could look out in this room right now, and look out in this room right now. Take it all in a glance. Look around you at everybody here and all the objects and things in the room. Take it all in. And if you have to realize that if you had to put it all into words, what you just glanced in that second, it would take a long time to describe and name everything that you just saw. You'd have to isolate it, label it, and describe everything in detail. But in a one glance, you could take in all of the detail without naming it. Your consciousness is effortlessly aware of and comprehends all it sees all the time without naming it. Consciousness is the highest word you will ever utter. Consciousness is pure awareness. It's really not complicated. And it's very enlightening. The truth of who you really are. You are consciousness. Your true self, my true self, is the one who sees it all. From back in here somewhere, I look out and I am aware of events, thoughts, emotions, everything. And it all passes before me in split seconds. If you go very deep into this silence, that's where your true self lives. You live in what has been called the great seat of consciousness. A true spiritual being lives there. A master lives there all the time, without effort and without intent. Just as you effortlessly could look outside and see all that you see, you will eventually sit far enough back in yourself to see all of your thoughts come and go, all of your emotional reactions come and go, all outer form, even your body, come and go. Because everything is out there in front of you. Physical form is way out there. Thoughts are a little closer in and emotions a little closer in, but behind it all, that's where you are, your true self. You can be there right now. That's why in the beginning I was saying you can be in mastery right now. You can awaken and realize that it's been there all along, this true self. You are behind everything, just watching. This is your true home. Take everything else away and you are still there. You know what? Therefore you don't have to be afraid of anything. There's nothing to be afraid of. You are still there. The center of awareness is the seat of the true self. The seat of the soul. That's what it's called in Judeo-Christian terms. In Hindu it's called the Atman. In Buddhism it's called the self. The great mystery of being an awakened master begins once you take that seat deep within. Will you be the ones to enter the silence? And then let that inner light of your true self shine for all to see. Jane's going to come and sing a beautiful song that she wrote quite a while back that's just about this. It's called Awaken. And so let the tones of this song waft over you and take you into this awakened state, this mastery.
yourself, and you'll see who you are, and you'll know who you are. You are love, you are peace, you are love, you are peace, you are love, you are peace, you are love.
Thank you, Jane. It's beautiful to feel the vibrations of the true self that you are. You are love, you are peace. And we are the ones who are opening and opening and opening our hearts so that we can be in our true selves, and thereby have so much light to share with one another. So when you think about Martin Luther King Day coming, and all that means and all that that's meant on our planet, to be free of the naming and the projections, make this week a week of stopping the naming inside of yourself and sitting back there in your true self. I think it's really a way to bring change in the world. So we're going to get in our big circle now and sing one more time, "We Shall Overcome." And you're going to get it in a whole new way, what that means and what we can do about it. And then we'll go into our peace song.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome today. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace today. Oh, deep in my heart, I
on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, and we all agree. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with
Go out and be your master selves, your true selves. I know you can do it. Step into the seat of your soul.